All groovy, man. I just want a bunch of folks in front of my porch. Let's have a Coca-Cola, a sweet tea, or whatever your drinking flavor is, and let's just talk about life and how far we've come. It's on the only 1340 WTAN 10 Talk Radio Network.
It's all groovy with Robbie the Shark. Thursdays from 8 to 9 p.m. Listen at your own risk.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
Good morning, Bay Area. Hey, we got a brand new show right here on the TAN Talk Radio Network. It's the Hot Jazz Financial Show with your host, Jay Weinstein. Jay's a former professional jazz musician, saxophone player, and hey, he's got the picks and the beard and the goatee to prove it. And he's going to play you some hot jazz music you'll love, guaranteed. And also, as a matter of fact, he's an executive level retirement planner. You've got questions about retiring and all sorts of things related to getting out of the rat race alive? No more 9 to 5. Yippee, one day. But you got to know the ropes. Jay's going to really help you with great information. And it's every Tuesday and Thursday, straight up at 8 a.m. drive time, right here on 106.1 FM and 1340 a.m. Now, without further ado, here's your host, Jay Weinstein.
All right. Hey, good morning, Bay Area. Jay Weinstein here. Now, we're going to talk about some cool topics today. Going to try to make some the retirement process easier. I got a special offer for you. I just got back from a trip in L.A. I stayed at the Biltmore Hotel, the Millennium Biltmore Hotel. I don't know if you ever been there, but it's a old hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and it's got a lot of history. The Oscars and pictures all over the place. Humongous place. Huge hotel. I never expected it to be that gorgeous and ornate. Just really a cool Hollywood sort of a place. And I came up, I did a whole bunch of video shoots there for my channels on YouTube and all that kind of thing. And what I've come up with is a very special offer. I've created a sort of a course, if you will. And the course is designed to give you 60-second snapshots of things that you can be doing, in your for retirement planning, and everything to do from taxes and inflation, and what inflation means and how it works and why you need to prepare against it, because if you don't, it could really create a big hole in your retirement plan, right? So I talk about that on the videos. I talk about taxes and how how the tax system works a little bit. Now, guys, I understand this is not exciting stuff, but you know what? It's necessary, because taxes and inflation, they're going to be there whether you plan for it or not, right? They're going to be there. It's not a question of, oh, I got to listen to this guy Jay and talk about this and that, I've got it all covered. But unless you have a specific plan and understand how these things work, and it's really not that complicated, but you just need to dig in a little bit and understand the ramifications of what inflation is all about in taxes. Because if you don't do that, right, what's going to happen is you're going to become the effect of it. It's going to create what I call a deficit or a liability that you didn't expect, right? So it's kind of like if you prepare for it, if you understand it, then down the road, you'll have a plan, you'll have your income cash flow so that you won't be the effect of it. What you have to understand, it's going to be there whether you do anything or not. It's like I call it the ostrich phenomena, right? You can't just stick your head in the sand and hope it's not going to be there and go away. And so we want to prepare for that. And the other thing I talk about a lot, there's many, many different subjects, but one of them is also, we're all putting money into the stock market. We're working, we got these 401k plans, we got 403bs, 457s, things where we're putting money in and we're saying, let's save for retirement and all that kind of thing. And that's great. But I feel that even though the market's done well in the last 10 and 15 years, it's actually done very well. When I look at the numbers, right, when we go back to 2008, there was 1 year where the S&P lost 38%. And if you're looking at generating and taking income from your money, and the market's doing well, but you have that one bad year, even in 1 in 15, which is bound to happen, it's probably 1 in 7 or 8 years. But if you just have that one bad year where we lost 38% in the market, that is going to create a tremendous pothole in your retirement. In other words, it's going to hurt, because you now have almost 40% less money than you had the year before, plus the withdrawals, plus paying taxes, plus taking income out to offset inflation. You see what I mean? So you have so many different things that can happen that you have to protect against. And I say you have to, because if you don't, then what's the other side of it? The other side of it is you may have to go back to work someplace at Kmart or Walmart or one of the marts, and we don't want that to happen, right? And there's definite ways that you can do that. One of the things I teach people is to start looking at using what's called indexed annuities. Indexed annuities have these specialized income riders. Now, I'm sort of an expert in planning with these things because there's a lot to know, but the essential part of it is that you can now turn your money into pension-like income. Now, I want to be careful when I say that, because it is not a pension, right? I don't want anybody to say, well, it's a pension. It's your money, right? Now, if you have a pension on top of it, if you work for the federal government, the state, or the county, you've got a state system pension. I know people are listening to me all over the country, so every situation is different. You may have a pension. You say, oh, I already got a pension. Yeah, but you know what? That's not going to be enough in most cases to support you throughout retirement. So you need more. Right? Social Security is pension-like income, assuming that's going to be around. Who knows? Right? We don't know what's going to happen with the Social Security system. I've seen articles recently online that says, the Social Security is in deep trouble. Well, yeah, the government, they borrow money from the Social Security system, and they're cutting back benefits. They've systematically cut back benefits over the years. They've pushed back the full retirement age, spousal benefits, on and on. COLA, on and off. They turn it on and off. So they're finding ways to cut back Social Security, but by the year, I think it's 2031 or 32. I'm not sure the exact year off the top of my head, but it's supposed to be completely tapped out. That's what they say, right? So we've got to create other supplies of income, other sources of income. Now, if you're investing in your IRAs, 401ks, or brokerage accounts that are not qualified plans, right, what you want to do is start thinking about using these indexed annuities, because what they're going to do is create guaranteed lifetime income in writing, right? And so I teach people how to use these products and how to build up life expectancy credits. This is getting a little involved, and I don't want to bore you, but what I do want you to do is contact me and get on my mailing list, JAY@deepdive1, the number 1.com, JAY@deepdive, like off a diving board, the number 1.com. Let me know you'd like to be on my mailing list. There's no sales, there's no pressure, there's no marketing. It's just education, right? That's what we need. I finally really discovered what my audience and the people that I work with hundreds of people a year, and I see that they don't fully understand their benefits at their company, how pension works, how Social Security works, how tax works, inflation. All these different things are, I don't know, somewhat of a mystery, and not that you can't understand it. It's just that you don't have the time to study it. You're working in your career, you're busy, family. Who has the time to dig into something that's not so exciting? I get it. I do the heavy lifting for you. Let me do the heavy lifting for you. Let me teach you about it. And then if you see something that concerns you or you want to dig into deeper, then we set up a free, no obligation Zoom call, and I dig into your specific situation, right? So that you can see how your retirement is projecting out. So you can contact me at j@deepdive1, the number 1.com, or text me at 602-448-0263. Again, 602-448-0263. All right. Now, as we go, we're going to play some music because, this is not the most exciting topic in the world. I understand that. And I got some Stevie Winwood queued up, right, Ed? We got Stevie Winwood. Roll with it, baby, and let's get it going. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. All right. Little roll with it, baby. Stevie Winwood, one of my favorite guys. That guy, he goes way back, and I'm dating myself here. He goes way back to the 70s, man, when he was with had that band called Traffic. Remember that? Traffic. John Barleycorn Must Die. That was one of my favorite albums growing up. Yeah, and I'm dating myself there. That was early teenage years in the 70s there. There you go. All right. So I just got 3 texts. I love it. People are looking to get educated about retirement planning. You know why it's so important? Because, when you think about it, they don't teach it in school, right? It's not any course I ever took in any school I ever went to. Of course, I went to music school. They didn't talk about money and retirement plan there. But, I guess you go to business school if you go there. But are they talking about your specific? And there's lots of books out there. And, most of those books are guys and women trying to, sell their investment services and how great they understand the markets and different things that they do. And that's all well and good. But the thing about it is that there's so many moving parts to putting together a good plan so that you can exit out of the rat race strong, I say, strong. And if you're already retired, you've got to keep your eye on your money supply and make sure, because we're living longer and longer, right? We're living into our late 80s and 90s. I don't think the actuaries have moved back the life expectancy that much. They do that every 20 years. They look at it. But I think that, they're going to start moving that back because they realize that people are just, we're staying around longer, right? We got better medicines, better treatments. We're exercising. We're we're just enjoying life a little bit more in retirement, and it's not the way our grandparents were that made it to mid late 60s, or maybe they made it to 70. We're living longer, right? So that means we need to have moolah, money, income coming in that lasts. Because if it doesn't last, then what? What's the alternative, right? Family, kids, you want to rely on them? I don't think you do. I was just reading articles on the internet. You see articles about, I didn't expect to live this long. That's one of the articles I saw on the internet last night. I was reading different things, and it's just that, the work that this woman had done as a teacher and all this kind of thing. Well, she's living into her 90s, and now her kids have to help her out. And I don't think anybody wants that to happen, right? So it takes some work, right? It takes a little bit of time to sit down with a professional who understands these things, who understands the ramifications of doing this and doing that, and has ideas on how you can prolong money. There are certain financial products that you are now available. They've been around for a long time that can actually protect your income, right? It's money coming in every month, right? With a guarantee in writing, right? These annuities, right? These fixed annuities, if you go variable, anytime you go into the stock market, which we all love, and the game that we want to play, we want to make money, and we know the market's going to be there, but it's a game, and you're going up against what I call the big boys. You're going up against the institutional investors. These folks move the market when they want to move the market, right? If they want to short the market, if you know what shorting the market means, is they're betting on the market going down. In 2008, what happened was Wall Street betted against the real estate market. They created what's called these CDOs, collateralized debt obligations. And they actually shorted the market. They said, we expect the market to go down. They sell millions and billions of dollars worth of assets, and then they buy them back at lower prices. And that's where they make their money, and that's what they did. So if they want to push the market down big time, and they see an opportunity, it's valuated, right? It's too high, right? You got to be very, very careful, because now your money supply, your income, your livelihood in retirement depends on that. And do you want to depend upon institutional investors and large asset holders? Do you want to depend on them for your retirement, right? Is that a risk that you want to take, right? So if it is, well, great. Maybe have some of your money. But I talk about different kinds of money. And one of the things I do for my clients is show them how to have an overage, what I call an overage. In other words, build a retirement income that's over and above what they actually need to live on, to have income coming in that's over and above $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month more than they need to live, right? And now, if you have that guaranteed income coming in from different sources, and we can go through your particular situation and find out how to do this. But if we can do it, then we have extra money to now invest that into the market. Because if it's risky, if there's risk involved, we don't really care. It's that money that we need to live on. Right? We want to really dial in and strengthen the income that we need to live on, plus 20 or 30% to offset inflation, unexpected expenses you may have with your kids or family or travel or whatever you want, so that you don't have to go into debt and you have that cash flow coming in. And now we've got an overage, right? And we can do different things with that money to create wealth, to create protection on that money. I have clients buy certain types of insurance, life insurance, to protect their family, to protect their pension. Because remember, your pension, if you have one, if you work for the government or the corporation, you've paid money into that pension. You actually have paid money into that pension. And that money will come out, the money that you paid in, right, will come out no matter what. If you pass away the next day, your family will get your contributions. I want you to understand that in most cases, right? I don't know about your pension, but in most cases, the money you paid in will come out to your family if you pass away. But the thing that most people don't realize is the lion's share of the money that was put in by the corporation or the federal government, the lion's share, which is 90% of what your pension is made up of, guess what? It goes back into the system. It goes back into and gets paid out to other pensioners, people that are retired and live a long time and that kind of thing. Now, there are spousal benefits that you can get, but it costs money. And in most cases, the spouse only gets half. In the federal government, for example, the first pension, you only get half of the money payable. So no matter how you slice it, you're going to leave a lot of money in the pension system. And I show people this and they go, let's see about protecting the value of that to the spouse or the family, kids, grandkids, so that all the hard work that you've done, all the things that you've done, right, the value of it is protected, right? So people say, I don't need life insurance past that. Well, yeah, but what happens if you want to protect your Social Security income? Because that goes away too. All that goes away when you pass away. All the FICA taxes you pay. What happens if you want to protect the value of that? You see my point here. I don't want to get too involved and too sophisticated, but there's ways to structure it so that you can have a life insurance, a death benefit that you would pay to your family, right? The ones that you love, the ones that helped you through your whole life, that supported you in your career, and on, your spouse, right? You want to make sure they get the value back, right? Because we're going to plan, most of us are going to use up most of our money in our lifetime, right? So what is left? Well, you've got to start thinking about how to protect your income for the rest of your life by using indexed annuities, index fixed annuities, and life insurance to protect the value. And I'll show you how to use the life insurance as a pass-through. I'm going on and on here, and I'm giving you some ideas. But the key is to contact me at JAY@deepdive1.com, JAY@deepdive1.com. Get on my mailing list, watch the videos, learn about these things. And you know what? There's going to be a point, right, when you're watching these videos where you have what I call an aha moment. You go, oh, I see that I'm taking huge risks. I see that I have these liabilities this guy Jay keeps talking about. And there's something I can do about it to help and prepare my retirement for myself and my family and to protect everything, right? Financial. I'm working all these years. I want to make sure that it pays off, right? Okay. All right. I talk to these things over and over, and people are starting to respond. I love it. I love it. In the meanwhile, let's cue up another cool tune. I've got Aretha. I've got Natural Woman queued up. Ed, let's fire that one up. She's a great tune, great voice. It's an old classic that I love for many, many years.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. And when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind. You're the key to my peace of mind. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. When my soul was in the lost and found, you came along to claim it. I didn't know just what was wrong with me until your kiss helped me name it. Now I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for. And if I make you happy, I don't need to do more. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Oh, baby, what you've done to me, what you've done to me. You make me feel so good inside, good Mama, you make me feel. You make me feel.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, jazz lovers, been trying to find a show that plays real jazz like me? Well, guess what? I produce my own show. Jay Weinstein here. We can listen to what we really, really want. Set your dial to 106.1 and 1340 on the AM, WTAN, and we've got you covered 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Got a great show cooking for you, Hot Jazz Financial. We're going to be talking about some super powerful retirement planning tips. It's not investment advice, but we're going to talk about strategies to make sure you can retire and retire strong.
On Monday, the Rays and Red Sox squared off in Game 1 of 3 at Tropicana Field, and Taj Bradley struck out 8 of the first 9 batters, but he ran into trouble in the 4th inning.
Ground ball hit hard and fair off the bag up the right field side. A triple and a double for Boston to start the 4th. They've got the game's first run.
And then a couple of batters later, it was Rafael Devers.
Drive the other way to deep left. This has a chance. Palacios to the wall, and he's done it again. Rafael Devers, his set a Boston mark. He has homered in 6 straight. Now lead the Rays 3-0.
Cedar Rafaela added a 2-run home run in the 5th, and Tanner Houck spun 7 scoreless innings as the Rays fell by a 5-0 score. They'll be back at it again on Tuesday with Zach Littell going up against Cooper Criswell at 6:50 p.m. And with your Rays report, I'm Chris Adams-Wall.
Catch the Rays all season on the Rays Radio Network. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com.
You may be owed some money. After 911 and 411, call 541. That's 727-541-1741. Call Gulfstream Motorsports for a diminished value report. Due to my 28 years experience in the auto salvage business, I'm very good with wrecks. So if your car's been involved in a wreck, call me for a diminished value report. Call 727-541-1741. You may be owed some money for the lost value of your repaired vehicle. And visit us at GulfstreamMotorsports.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, I'm back. Jay Weinstein here. A little Aretha there. I always love that tune. I got some more Motown stuff. I call it jazz. You know, it's jazz, hot jazz. There's all kinds of meanings to that. You know, it's my days as a professional jazz musician. I played with Ray Charles, you know. I played with, who else did I play with? Some other people. They'll come to me later. But I was on tour with a lot of people, and you know, it's like jazz is a combination of a lot of things, right? So you got soul and Motown, and when you're a jazz musician, you got to be able to play all different kinds of music. Natalie Cole, that's what I was thinking of, Natalie Cole. And I played with a guy named Jack McDuff. I don't know if you ever heard of Jack McDuff. He was a recording artist for Blue Note, and he was an organ player. And he was one of the better ones, and he was great. And I remember doing gigs down with him at Washington, D.C. I could tell you a funny story about that where, well, it's a long story, but basically we're driving home one day from D.C. back to New York, and he was speeding, and the cops pulled him over, and we were in the van there, and boy, it got ugly. He didn't want to pull over. The cop was mad that he didn't pull over right away, and he goes in there and he finds a pistol that Jack was hiding in the truck there, and the cop calls for backup, and we're all thrown in jail, handcuffs, and the whole 9 yards. It was crazy, and Jack was friends with a guy named George Benson, who I'm sure you've heard of. He started with George Benson. Jack bought him his first guitar when he first started. And so he called George Benson up to come down and bail him out because we were like in Jersey or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time ago. And George comes down and he bails out Jack. And he leaves the 3 of us others in jail. So I had to call my parents, and I'm a kid. I'm in my early 20s at that point, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't know what I got mixed up in here," but it all turned out okay. And this turned out to be a story in New York for years. You hear about the Jack McDuff story, and and I guess I had my a little bit of fame there in the jazz musicians, all the stories that went around that I heard, and the iterations of the stories and the things that got changed and all that. But that was my former life, and I decided to, to go into business and to study and to go to school and to get into the retirement planning business, the insurance and investment business. And so here we are. And I talk to people all day long. I probably have 5 or 6 meetings a day with people on Zoom or phone calls. And the thing that I mentioned before that I see more than anything is not having enough education about how to structure, how to put it all together. Right. So as I mentioned earlier, I went out to LA and I wrote down 20 topics and I shot these videos with this videographer, this video guy, very good, has a nice studio. We went to shoot all these different things and we just shot for hours and hours. We're carving it up into an educational platform. And there's 60-second videos where I talk about many, many different things that I want you to consider. And I want you to consider these because it's education. It's free education, right? Where are you getting your education, right, to put together a strong retirement? It's not just going to happen by the snap of the finger. If you do what everyone else does, if you do exactly what, I don't know, HR tells you, who are not retirement planning specialists, if you do what your investment advisor says, that's okay. But again, what they're not doing is looking at the whole picture. And I say this till I'm blue in my face. I'll say it to my grave. If you don't look at the whole picture, you're likely to miss something, right? And that could cause you that big crevice or that big sinkhole in your retirement planning. And, it could have been filled up correctly. It could have been filled up with strong concepts or products or ideas on how to make sure that doesn't happen to you, right? And so, it's just think about it. We've got this stock market, right? If you're relying on it, most people that I talk to have 90% of their money in the stock market. And that's great. It's great. And I hope that you make a lot of money. But you see, what most people don't fully realize is that when you start to draw money, when you start to take out money from your money, it changes the mathematical equation, right? If we lose 38% like we did in 2008 and you take out 6 or 7% of your money, you just lost 45% of your money. How is that going to sustain yourself for the next 20 or 30 years? You see the point? What happens if you get sick and you go on Medicare, and you're on Medicare, and then all of a sudden you need rehabilitation or you need out of hospital professional help at home, or God forbid, you need to go into a facility of some kind? Do you think that's cheap? The statistics that I see now, it can cost up to $150,000 a year for a quality place. Now, do you have that money set aside just for that purpose? Most people don't. There are some wealthy people that are not concerned about that, but we're not talking about super wealthy people that can pay for that kind of thing. We're talking about you that have a certain amount of money, good amount of money, maybe even $500,000, $1 million, or $2 million. But having that kind of cost come into your ledger, so to speak, is just not something that most of us are prepared for. It's going to affect our ability to have monthly money coming in so we can live comfortably, right? So all of these different things are just, we need to go through that. I have meetings with people. Just to give you an example, I'm just thinking of one client in particular who's a PhD at a large university in Atlanta, in Georgia, and lots of money. And we've probably had 15 or 20 meetings and continuing on to make sure that he can replace his income. When he retires, he's a high income earner. And if you're a high income earner, I say high income earners, anything over $150,000 or more, right? you've got more to lose. You've got more to risk because most of you, I know this statistically, what I see, you're not saving and investing enough, or we have this market ups and downs, risk, sequence of return. We have that risk. And are you going to be able, right, to replace 80 or 90% of your pre-retirement income, the money that you're earning now? Are you going to be able to replace that when you retire? You see, so high income earners have much more risk than medium income earners because there's going to be, in many cases, a large gap. Now, to make matters even more interesting, you add in inflation, and inflation, even at 2 or 3% average, my goodness, when you look at the numbers, and I have calculators built to show you exactly what, say, $10,000 of income is going to be in 20 years from now. It's going to be, I'm just throwing a number out here. I don't have my calculator in front of me, but it could be like worth $6,000 today, right? The cost of the inflation, right? The spending power of your money, right, in 10 or 15 or 20 years gets lower and lower and lower. That means you need more and more income, right? You need more and more money to offset that just to stay square with your living expenses and your normal life, right? Now, guys, I realize I always say it, this is not exciting. It's exciting for me. I deal with it all day long. It's just, it's in my blood to talk about this with people. And that's how I can help you, right? You've got to contact me or else I can't help you. It's JAY@deepdive1, the number 1.com. JAY@deepdive, like diving board, 1.com, or text me at 602-448-0263, 602-448-0263. Get on my email list, and again, you will be the recipient of this new program I have, an educational process to give you the tips that you want, the tips that you're going to need so that you can stay clear of issues in retirement and really keep and maintain a strong retirement for you and for your spouse, and to protect the money that you worked hard for your whole life, you've sweated blood, sweat, and tears for your family to make sure that they get the recipient, the beneficiary of your hard work as well. And I can help you do all of this, but it does take a little bit of rolling up your sleeves and getting involved, and let's sit down and have a chat. All right. So as I say, we're going to keep the show lively with some cool jazz-like music, hot jazz. I got Stevie Wonder lined up. I've got a tune called Living in the City. It's an oldie but goodie, one of my favorite tunes. And let's cue up Stevie. Let's see what he's got to say.
A boy's born in hot-dot Mississippi, surrounded by four walls that ain't so pretty. His parents give him love and affection to keep him strong, moving in the right direction, living just enough for the city. His father works some days for 14 hours, and you can bet he barely makes $1. His mother goes scrub the floors for many, and you best believe qualifications long, but soon it won't have any to find a job. It's like a haystack needle, 'cause where he lives, they don't use colored people. Living just enough for the church.
All right, little Stevie there, huh? That's going back a few years, too. God, I'm really dating myself today. Well, why not? You know, the oldie but goodie stuff kind of makes us feel good. Remember, you know, another day, another era. Boy, things have changed in this world, haven't they, man? Things have changed, you know, the political scene. I won't get into that. Coming out of a big pandemic. The international scene, the economics of this world. It's just, wow, it's a world that I don't know about you, but I hardly recognize it anymore. It's just things have changed so much. I mean, just think about it. Did you ever think you'd ever have a cell phone? Or you'd be on your cell phone all day and watching, YouTube videos or texting people. I mean, and that's even old stuff now. But back in the day, having a cell phone wasn't even something anybody even thought about, right? And the internet and all this stuff. But, things do change, and mostly for the better, hopefully for the better. And that's the same is true with retirement planning. You know, it's not, there are techniques and things that you could learn that are going to help you, and they're not the old days, because in the old days, right, if you're grandparents or maybe even your parents, they worked for large corporations, and the corporations had these defined benefit pension plans. Pensions, that was a thing way, way back for most of them. Not everybody, but you worked for Westinghouse, or you worked for IBM, or you worked for Procter & Gamble or somebody like that. You worked for these big corporations, and they had these pensions, and that's really what people relied on. And but we don't have that anymore, right? We don't have that. We have, here's some 401k match money, and when you retire, good luck. We hope you do well, and the education process, well, maybe a 401k rep comes into your office and says, here's where you should invest. Large caps or international, small caps are doing great now, whatever it is. And, okay. And you listen and you say, yeah, put more money in there. Because remember, they want money flowing in because of why? Because there's fees on your money. Right? They're not doing it for nothing, right? They're managing your money, and over a long period of time, and continual fees, even if it's a half a point or a point or in that range, that's not that much. But when you look at it and you calculate it out, you see everything. What I try to get people to really look at, and it's not so easy because most of us are not numbers kind of people. Look at spreadsheets and, it's like, all these numbers, what do they all mean? But it's so crucial. Have somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, really show you the numbers. Say, if you're charging me 3/4 of a point, how much does that equate to in dollars over the next year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and I'm putting in money, and assuming you're getting me a decent growth rate, average growth rate of 6, 7, 8, 9%, whatever it is, right? How much does that fee calculate out to? If you don't know the answer to that, well, let me suggest to you, you should, because it's your money that's being taken out. And you say, well, they're making me money. I don't care what the fee is. Yeah, but it's like we're going back to the ostrich sticking his head in the sand saying, I don't care, everything's going to be fine. Everything's just going to be just fine. That's what I hear all the time. We're going to play the game of you manage my money, you make sure I can retire, right? But there's nothing anywhere in writing that guarantees to say, yes, you will be able to retire with X amount of income at retirement, right? And that's what you want to start looking for, is what are the promises that are being made to you. Right? In life, we've had people promise us all kinds of things, right? And does any of it ever actually come to fruition? Maybe it does. Hopefully you've been married and you made vows and, the promises were kept. But even there, the divorce rates are higher than they've ever been and those kinds of things. So we make these promises, but when it comes to something crucial like your retirement planning, you want to see what they're going to tell you and why they're going to tell you that and where is it in writing that they're going to back up the promises to you. Okay. And when you go into the fixed arena of annuities and life insurance and use these, you say, well, there's some guarantees in there that maybe I'm overlooking. Right? Maybe there are some things of value in there because these things have been around for a long, long time, literally hundreds of years. Maybe there's something in there that says, I should look at that to see if it can offer me any benefit. Right? If you have that guaranteed income coming in and you have that overage, now you have money to invest. I like investing. Invest, put money in different places, but use the right kind of money. Don't be betting the farm, right? Because if you do that, you might win, but you might lose. And when you start taking the income out, the math of the whole changes. And I want to be able to show that to you. So that means we set up a Zoom call and just there's no sales, there's no cost, there's no obligation. Let's educate you. Get on my mailing list, get on the video list. You'll start to see these things. I actually give demonstrations of the software in one of the videos, but you need to contact me, jay@deepdive1.com, jay@deepdive, like diving off a diving board, number 1.com, or text me at 602-448-0263. All right. So if you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to get periodic, maybe every 3 days or once a week, whatever it is. And you can always opt out if you don't like what you're seeing, which I know that you will. But if you don't, you can just opt out and you'll never hear from us again on that email chain. But you're going to get a series of short videos that are going to be educational for you, right? We all want information and we want it fast and we want it simple. And we want it easy to understand. So what I've been able to do, as I try to do on the radio show, is make these concepts simple and digestible so that you can like learn them, right? And then you can use them, right? That's all it is. And I've got 3 people that have contacted me to get on the list. I'm looking to get to 5 or 6. So please, jay@deepdive1.com. Let's get 3 or 4 more. And I will see you on Thursday morning. Right now, I'm going to play some more music for you, but I'm going to cue up a good tune that I have for Forget Me Nots by, who's that woman? Is the keyboard player?
Patrice Rushen.
Patrice Rushen, right? One of my favorite tunes, too. That's right. And we're going to play that up, and then we'll play a little Pancho Sanchez at the end if Ed could cue it in. And I will see you on Thursday. We'll talk more about this, and I'll tell you more about the series, the video series that you can start to get educated on this process. Okay. Have a great day. Have a great week. See you soon.
affection. Everything was just a dream. Was it the simple thing that made me so crazy about you? Was it your charm or your passion? It's not to believe I love you and I need you, so I sing the beat, get me nuts. Help me to remember. Baby, please get me nuts. I want you to remember. Sing the beat, get me nuts. To help me to remember. Baby, please get me nuts. I want you to remember. Did we give up too soon? Maybe we needed just a little room. Wondering how it all happened. Maybe we just need a little time. Though we did end as friends, given the chance we could love again. She always loved you forever. It's not hard to believe I want you and I need you, so I sing the beat, get me nuts. Help me to remember. Baby, please get me nuts. I want you to remember. Sing the beat, get me nuts. Get me nuts. Help me to remember. Baby, please get me nuts. Get me nuts. I want you to remember.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez, a former federal prosecutor who testified for the defense is expected back on the stand at former President Donald Trump's hush money trial, a day after the judge cleared the courtroom and warned Robert Costello not to stare him down. Correspondent Robert Costa is in New York.
Trump's lawyers moved once again to dismiss this case. Sources tell CBS News at this point Trump is unlikely to testify. They say it'd be too much of a high-wire act with little upside.
More than a dozen people accused of trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election in Arizona are headed to court today. CBS's Stephen Kaufman from Prescott.
Rudy Giuliani, accused of pressuring Arizona legislators and the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors to change the outcome of the state's 2020 presidential election, is among those scheduled today for an arraignment hearing, including 9 of the 11 Arizonans who participated in a fake electors scheme. Also indicted in the case, former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
Voters in Kentucky go to the polls today. Republican Congressman Thomas Massey says he's not expecting any fallout from a failed bid to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson. Ashley Tinius is with the Jefferson County Clerk's Office.
When you come out to the polls today, make sure that you have some form of ID with you so election officers can check you in the book and make sure that you're at the right precinct.
The ship that triggered the key bridge collapse in Baltimore is finally back at port. But CBS's Cammie McCormick says it's far from setting sail again.
The crew will be allowed to finally leave the ship for the first time since March.
Now that the ship is refloated, they are now going to have the opportunity to be able to have time off of the ship.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore says there is still more work to be done on the ship.
We still have roadway from the Key Bridge that's still sitting on top of the dolly.
A bumpy flight turns deadly.
The flight from London to Singapore was hit by severe turbulence before it was diverted to Bangkok earlier today. Singapore Airlines confirmed one person died and more than 30 others were injured during the rough flight. The airline said there were 211 passengers and 18 crew on board the Boeing 777-300ER. The plane landed safely in Bangkok. Elaine Cobb, CBS News.
A lot of people who rush to get on the weight loss injectable bandwagon aren't sticking with it. A study by Blue Cross Blue Shield finds more than half prescribed Saxenda or Wegovy over the past decade ended treatment too early to get any meaningful health benefit, including sustained weight loss. No comment from the manufacturer, Novo Nordisk. The drugs can cost well over $10,000 a year out of pocket. S&P and Dow, each down 3. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is Downtown Dade. How would you like to be able to promote yourself, your business, or someone else's business for less than the cost of one 60-second commercial on many Tampa Bay radio stations? Here's the deal. You can have your own 1-hour radio program on the Tan Talk Network for less than the cost of one 60-second announcement on many Tampa Bay stations. Your program will be on 2 Tampa Bay radio stations and will cover 4 million people in Florida, plus worldwide on the internet in both audio and video. And you'll have a web link for your business on the Tan Talk 1340 website. We provide the producer, the state-of-the-art equipment, pre-production of commercials, and much more. Check it out today. Call Lola O'Brien, the Irish Hawaiian, at 727-510-7622. That's 510-7622. Call Lola O'Brien now, 727-510-7622. Call now and your 1-hour radio program can start tomorrow. Call 510-7622 for Lola O'Brien, the Irish Hawaiian, at the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello there, Tampa Bay. This is former NFL and college football coach Jimmy Johnson. Listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can sure use the attention.
And this is former Major League Baseball player, Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. I also hope you listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can darn sure use the money.
Hi there. This is marine wildlife artist and conservationist Dr. Guy Harvey. Please listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They need to feel worthy.
Tune in Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. for Miss Sarah's Dynamic Gospel Power Show. That's 2 hours of great gospel music every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. All brought to you by the Ozona Pig Restaurant in Ozona. Yes, that's every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. It's Miss Sarah's Dynamic Gospel Power Show. Tune in on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Join the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection live from Ferg Sports Bar and Grill every Saturday as we cover Tampa Bay sports, from the Pee-wees to the preps to the pros, providing a positive perspective in our weekly interviews with NFL alumni and Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductees, as well as collegiate, high school, youth coaches, and players, conversations from the clubhouse, as well as entertaining guests weekly. So be sure to have a championship day with the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection on the Tan Talk family of stations.
The St. Pete Sports Connection, Saturdays from 11 to 1.
Are you looking for a job? Join me, Gene Hodge, on the Employment Opportunity Hour from 7 to 8 p.m., where I will tell you and share with you, as well as answer all of your questions and help you find enjoyable employment instead of a job. This is the only talk show that talks about everyone who makes up our workforce. Join me on the Employment Opportunity Hour from 7 to 8 p.m. on the Employment Opportunity Hour.
That's the Employment Opportunity Hour, Wednesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Every day, it's more Sinatra, more Bennett, and more of the rest of your all-time favorites. We're playing the music of your life on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
This is Ray Charles. I want to thank you for making the music of my life the music of your life.
Jesse is a friend. Yeah, I know he's been a good friend of mine. But lately something's changed, it ain't hard to define. Jesse's got himself a girl and I wanna make her mine. And she's watching those eyes, and she's loving with that body, I just know it. And he's holding her in his arms late at night. You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that? I'll play along with the charade. There doesn't seem to be a reason to change. You know, I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I wanna tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot. Cause she's watching him with those eyes, and she's loving him with that body, I just know it. And he's holding her in his arms late at night. You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that, like Jesse's girl? I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman? Where can I find a woman like that? And I'm looking in the mirror all the time, wondering what she don't see in me. I've been funny and cool with the lines. Ain't that the way I'm supposed to be? Tell me, what can I